Hi everyone, welcome back to Mystifying Miracles, and we have another true miraculous story for you today. It was a Sunday morning, very early. It was 1:14 a.m. when a couple received a phone call in regards to their son Jay. An unknown voice on the other end spoke and told them that their son was gravely injured. And in addition, the voice also stated that they wouldn't be able to take their son Jay to the hospital until they had gotten their medical insurance information. Now, Jay, he was a fun-loving guy, and there was one summer when he was going to go with some of his buddies to Colorado. His parents, their names Jim and Julie, they weren't fond of this trip. In fact, they really were kind of antsy about him going. Not only that, but they didn't really care for the actual friends that he was going with either. Didn't say any specifics, but I'm assuming maybe they weren't the greatest influence. And oddly enough, even Jay himself and his sister Jessica both had just kind of uneasy feelings about him going on this trip. However, last minute, Jay makes the decision and he decides to go. Once Jay and his friends, they were up in the mountains in Colorado and they were just doing their thing, having a good time, and there came a point where they thought they heard the sound of a deer. Now, one of the group, one of his buddies, had brought a handgun, so they were going to go investigate this noise to see if they could see the deer. When they went, it was Jay who actually was holding the .22 caliber handgun, and on their way to investigate, somehow Jay slips or trips up a little bit, and the handgun falls, drops, and when it drops, it fires. And it was instant that Jay felt a shock throughout his whole body. When he tripped, he did not realize that the gun actually went off and hit him. So he just felt the shock and he was like, "What?" But then quickly realized, obviously. The bullet itself hit his groin area, and I mean, it just missed by margins a major artery. And doctors say, had that bullet hit that artery, he would have bled out almost instantly. So, I mean, that was a miracle in itself. So, obviously, when he fell to the ground, his friends got him into their vehicle, and they made their way to go up to the main road because there were no phones where they were. It was a bumpy ride and excruciating and painful for Jay. However, it was a blessing that there was an emergency phone on the roadside once they reached the main road. So his friends, obviously, they dialed 911. Help's on the way, and once the help arrived, that's when Jim and Julie got the call in regards to their son. The EMTs had to call them in order to get the medical insurance information. Now, the ambulance ride itself, it stated it was a 45-minute drive all the way to the little country hospital. So I'm sure that was very excruciating for poor Jay. And once he was there, Jay's father actually spoke with the ER doctors, and he wanted his son transferred to Denver. That way he could get the top medical care that he needed. However, the ER doctor said to his father, "Sorry, we can't do that. We have to take him into surgery ASAP because if not, he's not going to make it." So they, had to keep him there. They rushed him to the OR. And in the meantime, his parents started the 2.5-hour drive towards the hospital. And I mean, they had to drive through mountains and all that. Imagine that ride for them because here they are, their parents. It's not a short trip. They don't know if their son's already gone or if he's going to die. So I'm sure they were a mess just thinking of all the possibilities in their head. Now, once they got there, that's about the time that Jay was rolled out of the OR and the doctors told his folks that he's going to make it. It's going to be okay. It might be a long road, But hey, at least there is a road, right? So this was good news. That is when Jay's parents called his sister, Jessica. Jessica was actually overseas on a mission trip in India at the time. And of course, getting a call that late, or really that early in the morning, she was frightened when they woke her up where she was to take the call, because she for sure thought that her brother was gone. Because remember, she had that antsy feeling and she didn't think it was a good idea that he went in the first place. And that's when she told her father, Jim, something. And a quote from Jessica, she says, "Dad, it was our prayers and the hand of God that stayed the bullet." End quote. So what had happened, actually while she was in India with fellow friends and whatnot, she asked them, because of that uneasy feeling about her brother, before she even knew that he had accidentally been shot, she had all of them praying for her brother for safety and that he would be okay. So those prayers, I mean, they worked, and they worked big time, because even though he did have the accident, he pulled through. And I find that so neat. That's where the story ends, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, that's a good ending. But what I mean is there were no details like how long his recovery was, or maybe what he's doing nowadays. But all we know is he lived, and that his sister, on her mission trip, they prayed for him and God answered those prayers. And when I was reading this story before doing this video, I thought that is so cool. And I don't know about you guys, but there have been times in my life where I'll wake up in the middle of the night from a dead sleep, and I'll feel an inkling out of nowhere, like, okay, you need to pray for this person now. And it could be somebody I haven't spoken to in years. I mean, so I do it. I mean, I say the prayer and then I'll go back to sleep. I don't know though. I'm interested in your guys' experience. Like, have you ever had that happen? Whether it's at night, during the day, whenever, that inkling just out of nowhere, I need to do this. I need to pray for this, Let me know, because I love hearing that kind of stuff. And other than that, guys, that's it for this one. Let me know how you thought, and please subscribe if you like these true stories. And I just thank you guys for watching. Makes me happy. So thank you. I'll see you guys for the next one.